Yo, welcome back to the channel everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Oscar and we're back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking quickly about the new Horseshoe Casino Las Vegas chips that released last week. I believe it was last week, Thursday actually, is when the Bally's officially rebranded as the Horseshoe. It's been in the works for a couple months, but it finally happened. I believe the first time we saw the Horseshoe branding on anything was towards the end of the WSOP, and finally happened. There's actually a Horseshoe back in town after Binion's Horseshoe closed. Was it early 2000s, late 90s, somewhere around there. But yeah, Horseshoe Las Vegas. I believe this is the same Horseshoe Corporation that has casinos in Cincinnati, Cleveland, or had them there. Same branding, same everything as far as those casinos go. But quickly wanted to talk about the chips and then one slight issue that might be apparent. So the chips are pretty straightforward. They're Paulson RHC chips, which are generally what most casinos are moving towards now. I believe they're much more cheaper than standard THC chips, which kind of sucks because the person who likes to collect chips, they're more sought after if they're the actual THC chips. And I'm not sure if that's why casinos kind of do the RHCs. They don't want people to collect them. But if I was a casino, you know, I'd be going all out with THC mold chips and trying to create the craziest color, basically the craziest looking chips, but the nicest looking chips as possible. But let's quickly talk about the chips. All the pictures that I'm going to be using on the screen are from chipguide.com. It's basically an online database which has tons and tons of information about casinos, chips, any type of casino collectible you have. There's links to resources to, let's say, like my videos on certain casinos, certain articles that are online about certain casinos, and much more. So let's quickly talk about the chips. The $1 chip is a white chip with 2 peach edge spots. Pretty standard. I mean, it's a nice looking chip. Kind of standard what you're expecting of a $1 chip. It's not too crazy, doesn't have too many crazy edge spots. White chip, pretty straightforward. The 5 is an interesting chip because I haven't seen an edge spot like that before. Red chip with 2, or what Chip Guide is saying, two yellow and 2 blue edge spots, 2 fat spots, 2 skinny spots. The 25 is a it's a 5 edge spot chip, which, man, the new edge spots on these chips are something that just it's not, something isn't correct in my mind. It's asymmetrical. It's like the OCD inside of me just goes crazy. But 5 edge spots, 3 brown, 2 green. The 100 is a black chip with I guess we could say 4 sets of 2, 4 gray edge spots, 4 orange edge spots. The 500 is 3 sets of 2, 3 gray, 3 orange on a purple chip, and the 1K, which is the highest one on Chip Guide, is a oversized inverse Hatton Cane 43 mil chip that's yellow with what appears to be 3 pink and 2 purple edge spots. So again, 5 edge spots. OCD is kind of going crazy, but the main thing I wanted to talk about in this video was the actual kind of similarity between a closed casino chip that closed, I believe it was a year or 2 ago, compared to the Horseshoe 100. So the casino that closed was the Jumer's casino. Let me just double check exactly where it was. The Jumer casino was in Rock Island, Illinois. So the interesting thing about the 100 is it looks exactly the same to the Horseshoe 100. I'll try to find a picture of both and put them on the screen side by side so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. The Jumer's 100 has a obviously black base. It's a $100 chip. It has the 4 sets of 2, I guess we could say like tiger claws, 4 gray, 4 orange. Pretty, I mean, it's a nice looking chip. RHC, it hits all the things that you would kind of want. Now this chip is what Chip Guide says it's on the backup set, so it was the secondary chip issued back in 2008. Now the interesting thing about that and the Horseshoe 100 is that the Horseshoe 100 shares the exact same base color, the exact same edge spot, the exact same basically everything. So the one thing I kind of wanted to get across in this video, and it could be something that GPI could kind of work on in the future, is you know, if you're gonna have chips that are gonna be made basically the same, you kind of want to make sure that things aren't you know, too close, because there's plenty of people that could simply, you know, see this, they might see this video, but they might see the comparison between the two. There might be some person that has one of these Jumer's chips at home, and obviously it's not cashable anymore, but what if they took that and decided to create a label, and then they could go to Horseshoe and try to cash it in? Now, of course, that's a possibility. I know there's plenty of people that have gotten, you know, taken to jail, had insanely high bails. I think years ago there was some person or a group of 2 guys that actually went to Green Valley Ranch. They took $1 chips, tried to turn them into $100 chips. They went ahead and actually cashed 3 of them after painting them and getting all the edge spots done with new inlays. I think they cashed 3 or 5 of them. Went home. Security ended up finding out that the chips weren't real. Obviously, most chips on tables nowadays either have RFID or they have UV black lights on the inlays, which is obviously to make sure that something like that doesn't happen. But long story short, these guys got caught, went to jail. They had like a $15 million bail. The one guy ended up staying in jail for like 10 or 12 days, got released on a $12,000 bail, met some guy in jail at that time, and he happened to be in Vegas too. They linked up. They wanted to make some more money. They went ahead and tried it again. I think it was a few days goes by, and the feds came and knocked on the garage door and caught them yet again. So the guy went back to jail, but it's absolutely crazy what people do for money. So one thing, like I said, one thing I wanted to get across, whether it's to GPI or some casino chip manufacturer, you want to make sure that these chips aren't close to what has already been produced. And I know it's pretty hard to kind of keep track, but I mean, I've looked at pulse and chips on Chip Guide for hours and hours and hours, and there's been very, very few chips that I've been able to find, you know, that matched exactly or had the same base spots, base color and edge spots and everything to the T. Now, this could be a coincidence because the Jumer's 100 was actually the backup secondary chip. So considering it wasn't actually put into use, there's probably a possibility that many people probably don't have the chip to begin with, and something like this wouldn't be able to happen because it was a secondary chip. But like I said, plenty of people out there that'll probably do anything to try and, you know, make a few $100, whether that is to try and turn something like a Jumer's 100 into a Horseshoe 100 and go try and cash it in at the Horseshoe here in Vegas. But I think once you get to the cage, and the cage kind of checks the chips over with the black light to try and make sure that the UV marking is there, that's pretty quick, you know, indication that the chip isn't real. So kind of something on my mind for the last you know, 1 or 2 days. I wanted to get this kind of set out so I can kind of relax. It's something I've been thinking about and really wanted to say. So hopefully this was a meaningful video. If there is anyone out there, let's say from GPI or something, or some casino chip manufacturer, and, you know, this is kind of new news to them, hopefully it was helpful. You know, but I'm just trying to save casinos and save people kind of from getting out of trouble, and inform the public, because it's something I want people to have a good time. I want people to enjoy themselves, but I don't want people trying to trick other people. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like. If you have any comments, put those down below. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.